Hello everyone and welcome back to some more NASCAR Heat 5 Custom Championship Series without the playoffs. Once again, you already know the drill. Today we're heading over to Texas Motor Speedway, which is a track that in previous games I feel like I've been pretty good at, but due to the whole sort of new configuration they have where turns 1 and 2 are a bit more flat, we're going to see if that still holds to be true today. Okay, so kicking off qualifying once again, going in completely blind. I have not run any practice laps on this track, so first time actually experiencing this track in the game. Really what's going to be make or break it for me is probably going to be corners 1 and 2, so we'll have to see how that unfolds. Okay, so coming to the line, I did not have to lift at all in turns 3 and 4, did lift a bit in 1 and 2. We are not going to be even close to the pole. In fact, we are really far off. 30th place, that's actually worse than normal. I don't know if maybe I could have gone through turns 1 and 2 without lifting, but that's a pretty dreadful start. And I mean, hey, we got Ryan Newman down here, so we got a championship contender also down here, not having a great start. And for the pole on this race, let's see, we have Martin Truex Jr. All right, well, you know what? We have a lot of cars that we're going to need to pass. Okay, so coming to the green flag. Before we're going green here, I did change my setup to be 1 notch looser than it was in qualifying, just because I think it was probably turns 1 and 2, where I probably lacked a bit of speed to actually, you know, perform as we would generally expect. 43 lap race, even though I'm pretty sure on the menu it said it was 44. Kind of weird. 30 laps worth of fuel, so we do have a mandatory pit stop after a couple races where that was not actually required. Not the best start in the world, as we're already down in position to Ricky. Not exactly where we want to be. Who knows, maybe this is actually going to be a downfall for us. I thought this would be a good redemption kind of race for us, as we're going to get a bump from behind. Who is that? That's a good old Brennan gone. All right. I was really kind of, oh god, Brennan's already trying to spin us out. I was really expecting this to be a good race for us compared to, you know, short tracks and road courses where I'm typically more likely to struggle in these types of games. Whereas, you know, a mile and a half, pretty easy, I feel, for the most part. But who knows? Actually, we have our teammate back here with us as well. So maybe Bubba can help us get towards the front, or I'm just going to get shoved out of the way by everybody. We are not performing well at all. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I feel like I'm down on speed, like outright horsepower, compared to some of these other cars. Not exactly the start I was hoping for. Maybe as the tires wear down, we'll have some kind of advantage, but we're not really gaining on anybody. In fact, we're losing spots even though I'm on the throttle the whole time. I'm not lifting at all. Ryan Newman having a cold day. I'm definitely having a cold day as well. This is kind of weird. We're even being passed by Quinn House. That's how you know we're definitely not doing as well as we would hope. Okay, the car gets to about 179 on the straightaway. That seems just slow in general, but of course the speeds aren't always going to line up with what you'd see in the real world. But we just don't have any speed. We're even struggling to keep up with this pack up here for like the mid-30s. So, you know, mid-30s is definitely not the kind of position we're going for. But I mean, we are back here with our teammates, so maybe RPM just gave us, you know, some really garbage cars for this race. Don't know why that would be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not able to push Bubba up because I just got to take whatever position I can get here, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to push Quinn House past any of these guys. This is really like a restrictor plate race back here, not going to lie. We're all just kind of stuck in each other's draft, which, I mean, will help me out a little bit, but once we get past these guys, I'm not really sure if we're going to move up. It could just be that on new tires, the AI are just great. Okay, good. Fortunately, that did not damage the front end of our car. Justin Haley, Daytona winner in the real world, obviously not in the game. Trying to give us a little bit of a push. It actually does help us out a little bit. Okay, until I, you know, just about send it up into the shadow realm by touching the apron there. Ryan Newman going to give us a little shove. I really don't appreciate these shoves that we're getting from the AI, just because it's really hard to control once you get in the corners, and we don't want to be on the outside in this corner. That is one thing you definitely don't want to do, especially in the real world. I mean, this is obviously modeled after the most recent variant of the track, so the first corner really only has one groove, whereas 3 and 4 you can kind of run the high line if you wanted to. Okay, so our current best lap is a 30.2. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the only reason why I'm catching up to some of these AIs is because they're running the high line here, and there is no such thing as the high line in 1 and 2 in Texas anymore. Unfortunately, you know, they kind of neutered that when they decided to shave down the banking for absolutely no reason a few years ago. I'm pretty sure basically everybody preferred the old configuration, and now my car is starting to slide on the exit of 3 and 4, so I did loosen up the car. That being said, you could have even made it looser because the right front is still wearing down more quickly than the right rear. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But we are passing cars. I think this is where the whole me having more grip on worn tires does come into play, because otherwise I feel like I would just be struggling to even get a top 30 in this race, and who knows, maybe I still will. But fortunately, we have that working for us, so maybe over the course of a long green flag run, we can actually make up some spots here and maybe get at least towards the top 20. You know, if we finish really far back, that's just going to really hamper our hopes for a championship. Okay, moving to the inside of 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson, who's just having an abysmal season in the game so far, and not even really a great one in the real world as well. Kind of unfortunate considering one of those races, you know, he wasn't able to attend, which might honestly be what decides it for him. I think at this point in the season, he's going to have to get a win. Again, don't know exactly, you know, when this video is going to be uploaded, but at least at the time, I'm pretty sure he's like 17th or 18th in points, and he's, you know, 30 some odd points out of the playoffs. Kind of why the playoffs are kind of dumb, at least in my opinion. But, you know, I mean, if you're struggling to get in the playoffs to begin with, you're not going to be able to win a championship in a format that does not have them. So, you know, it doesn't ultimately change a whole lot there, but, you know, everybody's playing by the same rules as we get shoved up the hill by Corey LaJoie, who, speaking of LaJoie, having a really good season so far in this custom championship season. Not exactly having a great race today, although, you know, 25th for him in the real world, probably wouldn't complain too much about that, considering the equipment that he has to work with. All right, to the inside of Chris Buescher. Still used to the 17 being Ricky Stenhouse. So whenever I see the 47, I can now think of Ricky Stenhouse, but whenever I see the 17, I still also think of him. I don't think of Chris Buescher being in that car. Working to the inside of Tyler Reddick, who we are technically racing for Rookie of the Year. Again, not that it actually matters because we're not, you know, playing career mode. And yeah, so goodbye Tyler as he's starting to fade back. I really feel like it's the AI running on the high line that's causing them to lose this time. I don't think I'm actually really gaining speed. Actually, you know what? I say that. I'm really close to my best lap time now, even though we're, you know, halfway through a green flag run. So my car is just, it's better on the long run. We'll just say it's a Hendrick Motorsports inspired car where they suck on restarts, and everywhere else they're pretty good. Because, you know, in the real world that generally doesn't help you out too much. Oh gosh, my car is trying to kill me. The back end wants to kick out. As we got a, okay. We have a 3-car tandem up here, which is more than a tandem, but whatever. As my car really wanted to snap loose on the exit of that corner. And I have seen some footage recently, since they've updated the DNF parameters, that if you just nose it in the wall at like full speed, you're probably going to DNF. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. That's why I'm really trying to lift a lot when I notice a car starting to slip like that, because all it takes, you know, nosing in the wall once and then you're out, which, I mean, to be fair, is, you know, obviously realistic. You do that in the real world, your car is not going to, you know, keep going as if nothing happened. But that's a big, you know, step up from what it used to be, where you could do that 20 times before it would DNF you. So, and we are still making up ground, so it seems like everybody's suddenly falling off a cliff in terms of pace. Okay, my car just did not want to turn at all. We got some dirty air or something in that corner. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, so I'm trying to, like, let it, you know, slide out towards the outside on the exit of 3 and 4, but the car really doesn't want to do that. It really wants to try and bite in and snap to the left no matter what. And this is where the whole, you know, turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 being very different really start to come into play, is when you have worn tires. Because now in turns 1 and 2, I'm kind of tight, but in 3 and 4, the car still wants to, you know, just send it all the way to the infield. I don't think I want to go to the inside of Cole Custer here, but we're going to try and hold it. I mean, if we wreck, it wouldn't surprise me considering how many altercations we've had with Cole Custer so far in this season. Would not surprise me in the slightest. All right, and once again, Daniel Suarez, I believe up here, 19th place. Not bad for him. You know what? Honestly, like, I think Daniel kind of got, at least in the real world, he kind of got, you know, the short end of the stick. I don't feel like he's actually a bad driver. I just feel like he got a bit unlucky, a bit unfortunate with the, you know, the fit over at Stewart-Haas. But good to see him performing, you know, pretty well in the real world even. He's like 30th in points or so right now. But, you know, considering the equipment he's working with, honestly, that's still pretty, you know, impressive. Or at the very least, that's what you would expect. He's not underperforming or anything. As we're actually potentially going to pull off a pass on the outside. That's how you know the tires are really worn, when the outside actually becomes a viable line in turns 1 and 2. But even then, I feel like in the real world, probably not something that would work out too much unless you have some PJ1. Wouldn't it be interesting if they actually had PJ1 or whatever compounds added to the game? I feel like that's not going to happen, but it would be pretty cool if they added it. Obviously, I wouldn't expect that in the next game, but maybe the game after that. But hopefully by then, you know, when we have the new regulation and the new generation of cars, hopefully we won't need PJ1. Hopefully the cars will just be racy enough on their own. as we've managed to make our way past this gaggle of 3 behind us. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to pull away. We're at 44% on the right front, 10 laps of fuel. Oh gosh, you definitely got to be steady on the analog stick in this corner now, because it just wants to snap loose if you're on the inside, but if you're on the outside, there's just not enough grip for it to actually make its way through the corner. And then the exit of 3 and 4 is especially where I'm being careful. You can see we've already dropped off almost an entire second from our best lap time, although we were in traffic, so maybe this one will be a bit better. Okay, still like half second off. Truex is getting close to us. I think the top, 25 are the only ones left on the lead lap. So he's definitely still much faster than us. We are not going to win this race, short of, a meteor taking out the front half of the field. But we can still redeem ourselves, get a pretty good finish. I'm kind of hoping for a yellow flag, to be honest, because I feel like I'm just going to lose time on a green flag pit stop just because I'm so bad at pit entry. Also, that is not good. I had to save it there. Fortunately, I did. We were pulling away, actually. Now we just lost all that time. But that could have been substantially worse. The car just kept going to the left. And, fortunately, it did not rip off a splitter or anything like it would have in the past, doing something like that. We're just channeling our inner Dale Earnhardt pass through the grass, even though it wasn't a pass through the grass. It was just, driving through the grass. Okay, so the big question now is, can I even hold these guys off? I feel like we were faster than them partway through the run. And now that I have to be really careful on the exit of these corners, they're starting to just gain a lot of speed on us. Like coming out of here. Oh god, that was a terrible hit. I'm trying to let it drift to the outside so that I don't snap to the infield, but in doing so, I just smacked right into the wall. That's not great at all. Lose 2 spots. Fortunately, we get a shove at a Cole Custer who's for some reason anyways, being friendly with us after all the altercations we've had. So we don't lose track of these 2. This definitely seems like where we should be on track right now. We're not fast enough to pull away from these guys, but they're also not, pulling away from me. So we seem like a midfield car right now, which, not ideal. We would like some better finishes considering we are quite a ways back from Denny Hamlin for the lead in points. But we don't have to gain them all back today. Are we actually going to try and make this 3 wide with Suarez and Dillon? You know what? We're going to do it. Why not? YOLO. Okay, well, that works. And in this case, it actually is YOLO, because if you wreck your car now, it is just an instant DNF. You don't get to, restart a bunch of times. Although, I guess you could technically probably, like, Alt F4 or something, but, I'm pretty sure the game doesn't give you the restart option when you DNF, as I just smack into the wall yet again. That is not ideal. Do we have any more damage as a result of that? 96, actually, yeah, we took 1% more off of that, so not great. We can see Truex kind of closing in on us. He's probably going to pass us. Okay, I was about to say he's going to pass us before we go and pit, but we're going to have to pit here probably in the next lap or 2. And you could actually, there's only 16 laps left. We're going to take right side tires. We're not going to take left sides because we need as much ground as we can make up, and I feel like the AI is probably just going to take right sides as well. So if we take 4, sure, we might be a bit faster, but the AI will just be, 5 or 6 seconds ahead of us after the pit stop. Okay, we are successfully pulling away from that pack behind us. So at the very least, we do have a bit of breathing room. We're going to come and pit next time by, not this time. And hopefully some cars start coming down pit road with us. Otherwise, okay, there goes the leader. There goes Truex. Okay, so I'm pretty sure when we come out, we're probably going to be a lap down just because I'm sure the AI are going to be that much better than me when entering pit road. Okay, it actually looks like we're gaining a lot of time on the cars ahead of us as well. So it seems like they are really dropping off a cliff, as now everybody's coming down pit road. Here we go. Okay, bring it around. Hard on the brakes. Probably too early, but I can live with that. 45. Okay, that was still not a great pit road entry, but it could have been substantially worse, I'm sure of it. Right side tires, we're not going to repair anything. 1 can of fuel should be good enough. Okay, so we see my car kind of phase through Chase Elliott's. I'm not even in. Okay, my car just teleported inside and outside of this pit road, it seems like. I don't know, this pit stall is kind of weird. Fine by me. Let's see where we come out. We're going to need a good exit lap, to say the least, because as we learned, we were not great on the short run at the start of this. Austin Dillon is right behind us, and he was a bit farther behind us before the pit stop, so we probably did lose a bit of time, but it's probably not too bad. What the big question now is going to be is whether or not my car actually handles well with just new right side tires on it. Okay, so coming around after the warm-up lap, or the exit lap I should say, we have passed Bobby Carter, so we did gain time on him. We have Ty Dillon ahead of us. We have a bunch of what seems to be lapped traffic. I think that's Brennan Gahn on our inside. Last place yet again. Kind of unfortunate, you know. Would like to see Brennan do a bit better than that. Like, I don't think Brennan's necessarily, like, you know, the best racer or anything in the world, but he's a pretty funny dude, pretty interesting character when it comes to all the interviews. So you'd like to see him perform a little bit better than that. As Kyle Busch, actually in 17th place. Where is Denny Hamlin? That is the next question, because if Denny Hamlin's also back here with us, then honestly being in 18th is not the end of the world, because we wouldn't really be losing any ground. If anything, Truex would just be having a great day, because I'm pretty sure I said at the end of the last episode that him and Bowman were basically on the edge of what I considered still like competitive for the championship, even though it's still pretty early in the season. So if he can gain like 20 points on the leader, you know, in this one race, could definitely prove that to be correct. And I'm also just now noticing that Truex is still behind us. We are not a lap down yet. I kind of expected to lose more time to him, so I feel like maybe our pit road entry was actually pretty decent. I definitely could have done it a bit more aggressive, but I'm really just trying to avoid making any huge mistakes and, you know, nosing it in the wall, just because that would, you know, be substantially worse. Obviously, DNFing, finishing in last place. That's 20-ish less points than we would be getting right now, which, oh, hey, I was the last car on the lead lap. Funny how that works out, which means we can pit and not lose anything. So we're going to pit. We're just going to get full tires because why not? Even if nobody else pits, we shouldn't lose anything here except for maybe one spot. And we're going to repair damage. I'm not going to take more fuel, though. You know what? I'll take half a can just because why not? Maybe we get some green-white checkers in here. And after the pits, yeah, of course, we don't lose any spots. That's why. That actually worked out really well for us. We don't go a lap down, and we get a free pit stop. That's very generous for us. That being said, obviously, I was not good on the short green flag run at the start of the race. And there's only, you know, 5 to 6 laps left, I think, right now. Yeah, 6 laps. So we're going to have to see. That being said, you know, at worst, we finish in like 18th right now unless we, you know, DNF because we're the last car on the lead lap currently. Actually, no, it looks like Austin Dillon did take a wave around somehow. So he's also on the lead lap with us. Bobby Carter. Yeah, this car just does not work on the, you know, the restarts for some reason. It just feels like it's down on power. Yet after like a couple laps, then it comes back up on pace, which means we're probably going to finish in 18th position because there's not a whole lot of time for us to actually, you know, get back up there and pass some cars. Also, it looks like Truex has lost the lead. Unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he's led the entire race. So if Harvick steals one away from him, he's probably going to be pretty upset. That's you know, kind of the plot line with MTJ. Adversity. Kind of funny how after all of that, Cole Custer's still right behind me, even though we're not even close to each other position-wise on the track because, you know, lap traffic and whatnot. I think he's like 21st. I'm 18th, so it's not actually that far apart. All right, we only have a few laps left, 4 laps this time around, and we're losing, you know, contact with the pack ahead of us because we don't have a draft, to be honest, as we're going to have a big push from Daniel Suarez that actually shoves me up the hill. That's not going to help me. That's not for position, so it's not the end of the world. But that's not going to help us out in terms of trying to, you know, gain a few spots here at the end. Okay, 2 laps left to go. It actually looks like Eric Almirola, of all people, has taken the lead. I don't think he's been having the greatest season so far in this custom championship season, so he could use a win. It's going to be kind of weird. I don't know if he was really running up there at the start, but he could run away with it and steal one here at the end from Truex and Harvick, who I'm pretty sure started like both towards the front. I'm pretty sure Truex had the pole, right? So it'll be interesting to see the accolades at the end of the race if Almirola wins, to see where he had to come from to actually do that. Actually, I say that Truex is now taking the lead back on the final lap. We're going to have a last lap pass, it looks like. I'm pretty sure that happened after they crossed the start-finish line. And yeah, unfortunately, it looks like I'm just going to come home in 18th place. We're kind of just cruising along here. This car is just abysmal on the short run, as we've just, you know, lost contact with the cars ahead of us. You know, another 5 laps, we probably could have gotten like a top 15, honestly, because that's when the car tends to come alive. Truex does pick up the win. We're going to come home in 18th place. Not terrible. Could have been a lot better, though. Okay, so taking a look at the final race results, we see that, of course, Truex did win the race by just over a tenth ahead of Eric Almirola, who almost stole it from him. Actually, Harvick almost did so as well. I'm pretty sure Truex led probably all but maybe, you know, 2 or 3 laps of that entire race. And then looking through the rest of the top 10, you can see Bowman, Logano, Busch, Hamlin, Blaney, DiBenedetto, and then Kyle Busch. So Kyle was pretty close to us before that yellow flag that came out towards the end. So unfortunately for us, He did gain a few spots as a result of that, but still not the best day for him, so we're not going to lose a lot of ground to him and Hamlin in the standings, but we are still going to lose some ground. And then I will look through the rest of the field so you can see where your favorite driver has finished. We see Bobby Carter, first car, 1 lap down. He was actually pretty fast there towards the end. He was pulling away from me a little bit. And then in last place, Joey Gase, Brennan Gaughan. I don't know what the caution came out for, but it doesn't seem to be as the result of a DNF. And now taking a look at the point standings after Texas, we can see that I am now 50 points down from the lead from Denny Hamlin. But that's still completely within the fight for the championship, considering we're not even a third of the way through the championship yet. And Truex moves up a few spots in a 7th. Not exactly that far out. He is like 70, he's like 68 points out, if my quick math is correct, which who knows if it is. But you can see basically all the winners still pretty much inside the top 10, of course, except for our good friend Michael McDowell, who just continues to fall back. Honestly, I'm going to be kind of impressed how far back he could fall. It seems that his AI is just not tuned to, you know, perform well in the slightest. But that's yet to see. But anyways, guys, that will wrap it up for this video. If you have made it this far and you have enjoyed, please consider leaving a like. It would really help me out a lot. And in the next one, we'll be heading over to Bristol Motor Speedway for the last Great Coliseum. I'm pretty sure this is a night race, 65 laps, back to another short track after, you know, taking a little break at Texas. And yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.